Hey guys, welcome back. Oh, frog in my throat. I have a tutorial for you. I recently switched up my brow routine and I got into using my pomade by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm really liking the way it looked. I kind of changed up the way my brows looked. I went for a more multi-dimensional, natural looking brow. I love the way my brows looked before, don't get me wrong. I'm going for more of like a natural kind of brow, natural-ish kind of brow. So if you guys want to learn how I got my eyebrows to look the way they do using pomade, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing you need obviously is your pomade. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade, and what I do is I just take a small angled brush. This is actually an Anna with a hair on it. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills brush that I don't know, I think I might have bought it at some point. And then you take the pomade, and what I do is I take enough that I'm going to use so I don't have to re-dip it. I take about this much, if you could see that. And then I close up the jar because you don't want the product to dry. You don't want it to dry out prematurely. Then I take a little plate like this. You can put anything you have, use anything you have. And then I just kind of swipe the clump on. You can see the clump. And then I just kind of pat my brush. I take my brush and then I swipe it through like this, like a paintbrush, like you're loading a paintbrush, like, remember Bob Ross used to do the paintbrush like this, back and forth like that. And you just don't want a ton of product on, you want it to look about like that. Now the goal is to make your eyebrows look as natural as possible. That's why we're not going to load on, we're going to load on product, but just not in that kind of way. So I just go underneath the brow like this, and I start at the bottom underneath part of the brow. And that's why making the brush end to like a little point is important. So you have the most precise application. Then what I do is I come backwards and then I get the top of the brow. So now we kind of have the outline with the pomade. And now I'm going to run the product completely through the brow hairs. I have one hair that's like kind of sticking up funny. It's funny. We'll tame that later. The front of the brow can be tricky because it's hard to make it look natural when you don't have a front of a brow. So what I do is I go to the bottom line and I kind of flick it up a little bit and flick it down. I don't want to paint a line and then pull it, so I kind of flick it just so it doesn't get completely filled. And then I just continue to kind of fill in the brow. Keep in mind, if you make mistakes, they're fixable. All you need is a pointed Q-tip, and you just kind of reshape wherever you've gone out of the line, or where you've created brow where you don't want brow. That's also why we're going to clean it up in the end, because I am notorious for doing that. And then it just kind of looks like that. Now you obviously want to try to make your eyebrows match as best as possible. If you don't care about that, that's okay too. Not everybody needs matching eyebrows. I do like to give my eyebrows just a second to dry before I move on to the next step. Now I'm going to go in with my Serenity Scott Brow Gel. This is in the color Golden Blonde. Now the reason why this is really good is because it has flecks of gold in it. So it makes your eyebrows look like they have dimension and depth. So I take the brow, now this is where I get messy sometimes because I have little eyebrows and this is a big brush. So I kind of just work it into the brow like this and kind of give them a little life with the brow gel. And it gives them that texture. And it makes them a little messy. And then what I'll do is take the brow gel, and then whatever's on the end, I kind of just smush that onto my plate so I can show you what I'm going to do now. I take another brow brush. This is my crown brush. And then I take that brow gel because it is hard for me to precisely add that to my brow, and I'll take that and I kind of work that through with the brow brush as well. like this. And then I'll spot it on the beginning of the brow where I don't really have hair, because you still want that to look like that has hair. So then it looks like that. And when it dries, I promise you it's gonna look like hair. Okay, at this point they look a little cray. They have to dry, and once they dry, they get that like more natural look to them. At this point, I'm gonna do a tiny bit of cleanup with my Q-tip. The next step is just to do some cleanup. So I use my MAC Painterly paint pot. You can absolutely use some concealer if that's what works for you. I really like Painterly because it's really close to my natural skin tone. So, and I'm going to prime my eyes with that anyway. So I just take my Serenity brush. This is my Serenity Scalp Brush in 7. This is my favorite one to use. It's soft bristles, but they're not so soft that they flop around, but they have movement. And then I take the brush and I go underneath the brow and clean up the shape. So at this point, like if my tail is looking a little too long, I kind of shorten the eyebrow as well. And then same with the top. Just kind of gives the eyebrow a more lifted appearance too when you kind of clean it up under there. Now if you messed up the inside, now's the time to fix it. You can kind of just tap the brush a little bit, fix up the shape a little. And that is the finished brow. Okay guys, so that is it. That is finished. I went and put on the rest of my makeup. I filmed a tutorial. Yeah. So this is it. These are what the way my eyebrows look. I feel like they've been looking really just more natural looking than they have been lately. I really love the way my brows look using the Brow Wiz and the NYX micro pencil, but sometimes they can look a little flat, and I feel like they look really natural and multi-dimensional and like shapely this way. So I really enjoy it, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, guys. I was the worst at pomade. And honestly, I've had the pomade for a year. I've used it a handful of times. I always hated the way my brows looked. I mean, I've had it for more than a year. I had it when it first came out, like literally a couple weeks after it came out I got it, and I never used it. I just feel like, ugh, I don't know, they never looked right, but I finally got the hang of it. I really super love it, and I hope this was helpful for you guys to get used to it. It just takes a lot of practice. Honestly, guys, I was terrible at it. It's terrible. Horrible. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little how-to tutorial on my eyebrows. If you did, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. If you have any recreations or you started playing with pomade, I'd love to see your progress and how you're doing on it. Just tag me on Instagram. I'd love to check out all the pictures you guys tag me on. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.